Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing another solo overnighter in the bed of the truck. This time we're going to be using clear wrap, like you'd wrap a pallet or something like that with. We're going to use that to make our shelter. It is currently about 48, 49 degrees, supposed to get down to 32 tonight, right at freezing. So on top of that, remember last time we had that issue where I kept running out of propane in my little heater. So I've got an adapter I'm going to show you that you run to a big propane bottle, so we shouldn't have that issue. And then we lose the cost of those expensive little 1-pound bottles. I got another cooker I got to try out, so it should be a great video. I'm going to get this thing wrapped up, and then I'll talk about how I built the shelter and everything like that. I need to invest in a tripod, so I can set it up. Y'all can actually watch me build the shelter, but I don't have one. So for now, this is how it is. I'll explain what I'm going to do, build it, then explain how I built it. And this one should be really simple. Actually, it should be probably simpler, or about as easy as setting up that tarp. So I'm going to get to building that. I'll see y'all in a few. Alright guys, well, I just got done kind of building this shelter. And to be honest with you, it was way harder than the tarp shelter. It's not as good as the tarp shelter, I don't think. I actually thought about getting my tarp out to cover it. I didn't. So it's just going to be a cold night. If this was more just square, it would have worked fine. But the way it's built, where it extends over my truck and stuff, caused me a lot of issues. Because that whole, pretty much what I would call my back wall last time, is still open. I couldn't wrap it. I mean, I couldn't do it. I tried. It didn't work out well. So it looks like it's just going to be a cold night. And I'm a little nervous about running that buddy heater in it. I'm afraid it might melt if it gets too warm in there. But I don't know. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to crawl inside and I'll give y'all a view of the inside. It's set up pretty much the same way it was last time, minus I upgraded some gear. I've got a wool blanket to line my tarp with. I mean, not my tarp. Line my cot with. Then I bought a new 0-degree sleeping bag. So hopefully I can crawl in there and stay warm and maybe use the heat. I'm not sure. Also got a new cooker, like I said earlier. Hopefully it works out well. It's a little butane heater. Besides that, I'll give y'all a little outside look. It looks really good from the outside. It just does not work on the inside. And I have a giant hole where I had to cut a hole for me to get in it. And I have no way to cover it up. So I'm going to give y'all a look at it. It's kind of cool, but it's definitely not what I thought it was going to be or what I wanted it to be. So here you go. Here's your look. You can see the orange straps holding my light on in there. It's just kind of all wrapped around. That's the hole I crawl in and out of. Like I said, I'm going to attempt to find a way to either block it off from the inside or pull those two sides together, but I don't think it's going to happen. Here's the other side. Like I said, it looks really good from the outside. It's all secure and everything, but it's when you get up here that right there is just not sealed off really well. Like it's open from here all the way up to there. So maybe I can find a way to tuck something up there or something, but if not, if the wind don't blow, maybe I'll be able to stay warm. But if not, it's going to be a cold night. Alright guys, here we are inside the shelter. It's really kind of just, basically like I said, just a cling wrap shelter. It would keep you dry as long as rain doesn't come from right there. You'll be okay. Like I said, there was just not really a good way to do that. Maybe I should have done it first. I don't know. If I was to redo this, I think I would do that section first. I think I'm going to have to get my tarp out and block that hole just so I can somewhat stay warm. I was trying to figure out how to do it with this little bit of plastic wrap that's here. Maybe I can. Besides that, we've got our 0-degree sleeping bag, which should keep me warm, along with that wool blanket underneath. We've got our heater. Of course, my cooler that's got my food and drinks in it, some water, and then my cooking bag. And our new, that's premise. This butane. This is a butane for it, and the grill is actually a premise grill too. Got this at Sportsman's Warehouse. I do have a carbon monoxide sensor that hopefully works real well. I mean, it's gonna go down there. It's gonna go there. Lights are still set up. I did order another battery pack. This one is solar powered, so we'll be doing a review on it later on down the road. It's got a light and everything on the back of it, so that's cool. So we'll be able to keep our lights and my phone charged. It's actually not cold in here. Really, it's not that bad. It is, like I said, it's supposed to get in the 30s. According to this, it is 48 degrees outside and 51 degrees inside, so that's not a great difference, but that's probably because there's a huge hole right there. There's nothing I can do about it. And like I said, not sure about running that. I'm going to try to move it like right here and move this stuff over there also to kind of block that hole, the entrance hole. If it wasn't for all the holes, I feel like this would be a really good shelter. It would keep you dry and out of the wind. Ooh, my hair's a mess. It'd keep you dry and out of the wind, which is part of the bigger ways of staying warm. And I mean, I do have a heater, but I got a lot of holes. So it's like trying to heat the outside, I think. Especially that big hole up there. I really think I'm probably just going to have to get my tarp out and plug that, or I'm going to freeze tonight. This hole I'm not so worried about. I can block it with stuff I brought with me. But, did bring 2 pillows this time, my little camouflage one and this one. Like I said, this is that 0 degree bag. Canvas exterior, 100% cotton interior. Again, that wool blanket. And the whole point of this is the first time you go, you figure out what you need, or, you know, the flaws in your gear. If you need better gear, and you just upgrade. You upgrade until you're comfortable. And that's what I'm doing. Got the wool blanket because I think it'll help keep me warmer. And if anything, I can actually put it inside the sleeping bag with me. A 0 degree sleeping bag, comfort rated 0 degree sleeping bag. I don't know where the bag is. I was going to show it to you. We'll do a review on it later on. That adapter to help run that propane heater better. I couldn't find any propane at any of the Walmarts. I think I got a hair in my eye. At any of the Walmarts I went to. So luckily I'd already picked up that Primos, whatever, stove. A little butane stove. Got an interesting meal for tonight. So that'll be cool. Because we're not using that propane cooker. Because I couldn't find any propane. Luckily I bought this other one because I kind of wanted one anyway to see if I could put it in my bug out bag. Carry it around a little easier. Got 2 different beers for us to try. 2 different beers I've never had. 2 more interesting beers. One of them's a Shinerbach, like Holiday Cheer. And the other one's another Leigenkugel beer. Brought 3 of each. So I'm going to figure out how to adjust this shelter. I think it's going to lead to me getting that tarp out and just plugging that up. Because that's the only issue. So, I mean, I used a full 1,500 feet of cling wrap to cling wrap this. I mean, it's good everywhere else. Roof's great. I mean, you're not going to get rained on from there, but that big old hole over there is letting all my heat out. This one here I'm going to block with probably my cooking bag and a cooler. So it'll be able, you know, it'll be all blocked off. I ain't worried about it. And then the other downside is I don't know if this is going to melt or not if it gets too warm in here. I'm going to pull the heater away from it where it's got a good area around it. The heater's probably going to sit, in all honesty. The heater is probably going to sit right here. The cooler will go back there to cover that hole. And the water I'll move, and then my bag, and then so it'll have a nice good area around it. And also, if you notice, there's a funnel there. I told y'all I was going to try to find a way to make a bathroom. That's a funnel with an old piece of garden hose under it that runs underneath my truck. So, in the middle of the night, I don't have to leave the truck to go to the bathroom. Or at least not go number 1. I'll hold it, because I'm not going to go number 2, because it's cold out, and I don't have a way. I'm not digging a hole. I'm not doing that. So it's down to 47 outside and 53 in here. So it is warming up. With me being in here, it's warming up in here. So that's great. Let's see, 47, 53. and it's 5:05 in the evening. I'm really debating on getting that tarp out. I mean, I just don't know. I don't have a way to even use it in here to block that hole off. I mean, I guess I could. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. Because it's currently cool enough. I wouldn't mind cutting the heater on, but all my heat's gonna do is go out that hole. The rest of it, I'm not worried about. I mean, the rest of it, there's no holes. It's completely. I mean, even though like it looks thin, like right here, that's all the little thin spots that look thin. They're not. I mean, they are thin. Like they're not as thick, but there's no water or air gonna get in through those because it's wrapped a bunch of times. It's just that one spot looks thin because I had to go around the kayak rack and I could have moved that, but I didn't. The little digging tool. I can tell you that this sleeping bag and wool blanket are gonna be really warm because my butt's really warm right now. It is. So I think I'm gonna make these shelter adjustments. I'm gonna get that tarp out and tarp that end just so all my heat doesn't go out. So far, this is way worse than the tarp, and it doesn't seem like it wasn't worth it. There's no way. Just buy a tarp and tarp the back of your truck. I am going to do a video where I'm going to combine the two. I'm going to leave this wrapped, and then we're going to add the tarp to it. So the next video that it'll still be wrapped, I'm not going to unwrap it because I don't have to drive it anywhere anytime soon because I'm driving a different truck every day just because diesel prices are so high and this thing needs a tire. I did just buy 2 batteries for it. That was $240. Welcome to the diesel world, right? But I did buy the 2 batteries today. And then I got to buy a tire, and it needs another heater core put in it. And I just had one put in last year, but it leaks into my floorboard. So I've got to get that done. And then with diesel prices the way they are, even though it gets good fuel, it gets better fuel economy than the other 2 vehicles that we have. It does better fuel economy, but it costs me way more. So it's cheaper just to get bad fuel economy, which is weird. Yeah, I'm going to get the tarp out and tarp that end. Just that end. The rest of it's going to stay like this. I'm not going to tarp that. I'll show it to you when I get done. I'm just going to tarp that end to block that hole off somehow. And that's the other thing is with it being wrapped up here, normally I lay my tarp up there and, figure out how to run it, but I'm going to use my little tarp too, not my big one. But yeah, I'm just going to have to. It's a waste of propane trying to heat this thing. And that being said, don't get me wrong, I could go light a fire, and I'm trying to do this without lighting a fire, just because I don't want to. In the next one, we are gonna have a fire because I'm gonna do kind of a different setup. Y'all have to wait to see that. It's gonna be a cool setup though. But I will have a fire then. It'll be more of like a camping video more than a surviving in your truck bed video. But without a fire or anything like that, to heat this with this propane heater with that hole, it doesn't make any sense. That being said, I could definitely sleep in my hammock if I wanted to. The cold part, it being cold outside, doesn't bother me because I know I can get in my sleeping bag, sleep, and be warm. The point of this is I'm building a shelter that I'm trying to be able to hang out in and not be cold and not have to wear my big heavy jacket or anything like that. Like I could throw on another jacket, put my beanie on, and be completely warm. I'm still going to put my beanie on because I can sleep in it. And most of your heat escapes through your head. That's why I always have a hat on during the winter. Actually, I have a hat on during the summer too, but that's because the sun beating down on your head is not good for you. So yeah, I'm going to tarp that hole and we'll go from there. All right, guys, like I said, I was going to put my beanie on and tarp that back wall. And I could have always just tarped it, not shown that, and y'all would have never known. Y'all would have thought it was a cling wrap shelter the whole time. But I want to be honest, and that just didn't work out the way I wanted it to. And I am in my truck, and there's tarps in here. And I used my little tarp, didn't get the big tarp out. That's for another video where we tarp this, and it will actually make the back wall and everything, and we'll tarp it, and everything will be fine. So there it is, all tarped up, so at least not as much air can get in. Hopefully the temperature in here starts to change. Looks like we are sitting at, there needs to be a light on this, 46 degrees outside and 51 degrees in here. So that's what, a 7-degree difference. It's not bad. I'm gonna block this hole, figure out how to block this hole off, and then maybe turn the heat on. See if we can heat this thing up. I think the best way to block that hole off is actually gonna be use the cooler for the bottom, and the bag that my sleeping bag came in for, kind of the top. Maybe I can tuck it up in there a little bit and then make it like a flap. Figure out how to block it off. I'm gonna get to work on that, and we'll see what happens. Before I figure out how to put this bag up here, since I did find it, I wanted to tell y'all about the sleeping bag. And after a couple of nights using it, I'll end up actually doing a review on it. Reading it, it is a Stan Sport bag, is called the Whitetail. It's a 5-pound sleeping bag, so it is heavy. It's 70 inches long and 36 inches wide, so it's a good sized bag. Now, it has a 0-degree Fahrenheit comfort rating, not survival rating. It means you should be comfortable down to 0 degrees. Double layer insulation. It rolls up and has straps so you can roll it up. And it's got an oversized zipper. It says it's a 5 pounds of polytherm hollow synthetic insulation, will not lose insulating efficiency if wet. Cotton canvas shell and cotton flannel liner. Double layer construction. So if y'all look at the bag, and y'all can get one if you need one, or you can wait till after I do the review, because if it doesn't work and it's $69 on Amazon, you still don't want to get it. So here's that bag. Here's what it actually looks like, that blue inside. I know that looks black, but it's blue and brown. See color brown. 0-degree. Comfort rating, double insulation, roll-up straps, oversized zipper, 5-pound sleeping bag. It's called the Whitetail by Stan Sports. We make camping fun. So, yep, so there it is. Now I'm going to figure out how to plug this hole so I don't freeze all night, and then we're going to cut the heat on and see if it melts my shelter. Because if it starts melting my shelter while I'm awake, I'm not going to run it while I sleep. I'm probably not going to run it. It's very much while I sleep. Even though now that it's got a 5-pound bottle, or that big propane bottle, that 20-pound bottle on it, it shouldn't run out of propane like it did the last time I went camping. But who knows? So, and I think I'm actually going to use my cooking bag to, I don't know. I don't know. If this will block the whole thing, I will use it. Just it. If it won't, I'll have to find something else to put over there too. I've just got to be able to block that hole. So it's apparently the thing with this cling wrap shelter. It's the way the rack is. If it didn't have the kayak racks on it and it was just square and I could have just wrapped it, it would have been fine. And I'd have had enough cling wrap left to build a door. So I think that when I do that video where I show you guys how to build that tarp shelter in a truck without a rack on it, I'm going to use one of the other trucks, probably our Chevrolet. I'll show you guys how to build a rack out of timber, like out of sticks, practically. Logs, limbs, whatever you want to call them. I don't know why I couldn't think of that earlier. Build the square frame and then tarp it. And I figured with that same square frame, we can cling wrap it a whole lot better and redo this and make it a way better shelter. But I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. It'd probably even be easier if you had a truck that you could sleep in with the tailgate up. But I don't have one of those, because they all have toolboxes in them. And with the toolbox in them, you can't sleep with the tailgate up. So we'll see how it works, and I'm going to see if I can get this hole blocked off. All right, so using the bag and the cooler, I've got that hole completely blocked off. I've repositioned my heater here so it's got a good area around it, and hopefully it doesn't melt the shelter. We'll figure that out in a minute. I'm not going to turn it on right now because I was trying to figure out, after blocking that hole off, blocking this hole off, putting the tarp up, if it would help with the temperature difference. And so far, we are doing okay. Now, we're not doing fantastic, but we're doing okay. It is 44 degrees outside and 56 degrees inside. That is a 12-degree difference running no heat, just me being in here with the holes blocked off. My body heat is what is heating this right now, and that's awesome. So, I don't know. I'm going to cut the heater on because I need to see if the heater's going to melt the shelter, and then we will look back and see how much it warms up in here, because it is currently 44 degrees and 56 degrees out. It's 56 degrees outside and 44 degrees inside. So, and if y'all think that I've got the temperature thing stuck far away, it's actually on the cab of my truck. It's on the roof up there, so it's not even that far away. It's just that much of a difference between the two. It's actually sitting on that black box, hanging on the black box, or whatever. So that's where it's sitting. So that's just the difference in temperature in just a few feet at this point. Using nothing but cling wrap and a tarp. I guess I got to say a tarp now because I had to use it to block them holes off. But you got to do what you got to do, because we ain't just trying to survive. We trying to thrive. All right, guys. It's about 5:30 at night. I just cut the heat on low. I'm going to let it run for a little bit. Let it get itself all figured out. And I'll check back with y'all in about, I don't know, 5:45-ish. And we'll see how it's doing. Hopefully it doesn't melt my shelter. Because that would suck, because that means I still have no heat. That means I'm gonna have, if it starts looking like it's melting it, or the shrink wrap shrinking, or the cling wrap or plastic wrap. It's called plastic wrap because this isn't cling wrap or anything like that. If it looks like it's shrinking, I'm gonna have to cut it off, and we're just gonna have to do no heat. Or just do it heatless, because I'm not gonna melt my roof or my shelter. That's gonna keep me dry, keep the dew off of me, and all that. So, and that's still, the roof's 100% cling wrap. Most of it's 100% cling wrap or plastic wrap. Just that one, I just couldn't figure out how to do it. Or maybe maybe I should have started with it instead of starting with the roof. I don't know. Trial and error. I got something in my eye. It itches. But, yeah. I'll see y'all in about 10 minutes. Alright, guys. So it's been about 10-15 minutes. And the heater is working. It is only on low. But it's working really well. It is 42 degrees outside. And it is 61 degrees in here. So 42 and 61. I know this is probably going to show up backwards, isn't it? Hold on. So 42 and 62. 61 and 42. So it's 42 outside, 61 degrees in here. It's 75. So I was about 10 minutes late getting with y'all. I'm sorry. I was trying to set everything up, set my cooking gear and stuff up. And if you want to know where that's sitting, it's sitting right next to the carbon monoxide sensor on the fender well. I did think about sticking it up here, but warm air rises, so it's probably warmer up here than it is down here. And so far, it hasn't melted anything. It's warm up here, but no warmer than the sun would make it. And it was in the sun earlier, and you could touch it, and it was that warm. Yeah, it's not going to melt it or anything. It's only on low, and that's all you need. It's actually, like, at 60, that's a great temperature. It's a really good temperature, actually. So we were talking about that Shinerbach Holiday Cheer. That's what hold on. Here's what the bottle looks like. Shinerbach Holiday Cheer. It is brewed with peaches and pecans. Just finishing that one off. I always say it takes more than one beer to decide if you like a beer or not. I've had one of these. This is the only one I've had. it's good so far. Is it going to be great? I don't know. Is it one of those beers you can only drink one or maybe two of? I don't know yet. It's pretty good. I'm a firm believer in drinking two before you decide if you hate a beer or not. Just got the kitchen corner set up, that Primo stove, and the cool thing about that little stove is, comes with a little bag right here for you to put it in, and everything. And it's way smaller than that big propane stove. And of course, I got all my seasonings and my oil and my knife to cut everything up with. And then you've got my corner. I got some snacks, my wallet, my knife, my chargers, some germ eggs, a lighter, and some snuff. And I'm not crazy about this light color, but man, it's just better on the eyes, and it's just better. I know it's not the best for filming. Everybody's like, light quality, light quality, light quality. You know what? We're camping. We ain't got the best lights, all right? I mean, I could just simply reach over here and go like that, but is that any better? Do y'all like that better? No. Maybe a combination. Let's try a combination. Bam. Is that better? Is that more natural? Does that light feel better for you? Yeah, me neither. Maybe it needs to be brighter. All right. Yeah, okay. Now that's better. That's actually better lighting. Not gonna lie. That's way better lighting. You can see the shelter way better. So I should have had it on that one the whole time. That's actually better. Put it on the double, then brighten it. So, kitchen corner. My stuff corner. Trash corner, because I forgot a trash bag, which normally hangs right there. Also, urination corner. Door. Heater. Sleeping bag. No, that lighting setup is way better. It's gonna pull way more power, but as long as we're just, if I'm filming, I can have it on that one, on this one, and if not, I can put it on the other one. This shelter is warmer than just the tarp shelter. I don't know why this thing's full. I mean, it's just cling wrap, and it's not even that thick. It's not as thick as the tarp was, but it is staying way warmer. I don't know if it's just, I don't know why. I can't tell you. I know if the sun was out, the sun would heat it really well. And if you had a fire, normally a fire heats it really well. But man, it's warm in here. I mean, it's 42 outside and 63 in here. So the temperature in here is steadily climbing while the temperature outside is steadily dropping. I mean, last time we did this with the tarp, it's already colder than the lowest it got that night. And it's warmer in here now than it was the other night. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to cook here in a minute. We're having tuna steaks and potatoes and onion. Like potatoes cooked with onions because that's like my favorite side dish. And a tuna steak. Two tuna steaks tonight for supper. I don't have any snacks. I didn't get a dessert this time. I forgot to. It's up to 64 in here, by the way. I'm just holding this. But yeah, I'm gonna hang out for a little bit. When I get hungry, I'll cook dinner. Besides that, I like this shelter. It's a pain in the butt to do. I will never do it again. On this truck. It was a pain in the butt. I'm going to try it on another truck with a different, building, when I build the little thing to show you how to, if you just had a truck and wanted to build a tent out of it kind of thing, I'll show you how to do that, but I'm not going to I would never build one permanently. I wonder if you could drive down the road with this without it coming off. If you could, never take it off, right? Eventually the weather would get to it. If you tarped the whole thing and left this on here, wonder how long that would last. We have to figure that out. Anyway, I'm going to relax for a little while, and then when I get hungry, I'll cook, and we'll have a meal. Alright guys, so we're cooking up dinner now. Like I said, we're having potatoes and tuna steaks. I've got my tuna steaks all seasoned up with some lemon pepper seasoning, and I've got a fresh lemon to squeeze on top. Got my potatoes cooking down. They're seasoned up with that Richard seasoning from last time. And I said I didn't have a trash bag, but I found this bag because the potatoes and the tuna and stuff are in it. So at least I've got a bag now. And we're still rocking out to the heater, having a good old time. I have tried this Kugel Toasted Bock. It's a pretty good beer. It's a lot like a Shiner Bock, but it is definitely different. Like, it's got a little bit of a different note to it, but it's really good. Yeah, it's just my first one. Like I said, gotta get through two. Ooh, onion. Two before I really decide on if I like them or not. And I'm really concerned about this temperature thing because it all depends on where I set it in the truck. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm completely warm, and it's saying it's 48 degrees in here and 40 outside. It was 60 degrees. So it really all kind of depends on where you set it. So I don't know how accurate this is in here. Just because it's a plastic shell. I don't know. I don't know how accurate it is. Like I said, I can set it. I'm going to set it in a different spot now. And when I get back to you guys, I guess we'll find out if the temperature changes just because I moved it again. Does that mean it's 48 degrees over here next to this? Maybe. Was it, and it was 60 degrees in the fender well? I mean, I don't know. That seems like a drastic change. Anyway, I'm going to keep on cooking, and I'll see y'all when it's time to throw them steaks on. Alright guys, I got my potatoes off. It's now time for me to cook the tuna steaks. I'm just going to sear them off really good on both sides. The thing I do know about this butane stove, and I guess it's just like any stove, you got to learn how to cook with it. This stove cooks, I don't know if it's just hotter or what, but it cooks way, way faster than my propane stove does. And I guess it just gets hotter. Because those potatoes cook way faster than they do when they're on that propane stove. So I got my fish, my tuna steaks cooking up. Got my potatoes sitting over there. Got my fresh lemon and my fresh onion. I like to eat onion with my fish, but I also got that lemon to squeeze on top. So we're going to do that. I'm going to cook these up. I'll see y'all when I'm done. Alright guys, so here it is. My tuna steaks with some hot sauce and some fresh lemon juice squeezed on them. My potato. And, sorry, my side of onion. An ice cold Shiner Holiday Cheer. Halfway through this one, it is a good beer. It's a really good beer. We're sitting at 39 degrees outside. It says it's 49 in here. But it's not cold in here. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm still not sure this thing works. It's a comfortable temperature in here to me. And 49 does not seem like it would be. I mean, I guess that's 50. 49, 50? I don't know. It's fine in here. Like I said, I don't have any desserts or anything tonight. So I'm going to eat this. Then I'm going to hit the sack because it is, well, it's only 7:30. But I'm going to just kind of hang out and chill. I'll see you guys in the morning. We'll talk about the shelter over a cup of coffee. So y'all have a great night. I'll see y'all later. Good morning, guys. Oh, Lord. Whew. I'm not a morning person. As you can see, the sun's coming up behind me. It's about 7:30 in the morning. It is 36 degrees outside. It's 53 in here. Kept my little heater on low most of the night. But to be honest with you, I didn't need the heater. Actually, I probably couldn't even tell you if it was working or not. I think I just left it on to leave it on, really, more than anything. Because this sleeping bag was fantastic. I slept so good. No, the sun's coming up. It's going to warm up in here, though, with that plastic. That's okay. I gotta get going soon anyway. I'm going to ease this thing back to the house, so I don't have to unwrap it, because I need it. We'll use it for that other video. We'll make some coffee. We're having some, hold on. Some of this coffee. Hopefully it's pretty good. I'm gonna figure out how to make it, and we'll talk a little more about the shelter here in a minute. So here's our little coffee setup. It always helps if you read the instructions, because I didn't, and that water's already supposed to be hot that's going through there. So, but I have no way to heat the water or anything to pour the water in other than this pot. So I guess we're going to use cold water, let it steep through there. Maybe the hot water goes through faster. I'm going to set that in a cup, heat the water up, pour that water into a cup, and then pour it back. Yeah, okay, cool. That'll work. Let's do that. All right, so I guess we got our water heating up now. I put that in that little Stanley cup. I don't know how big these cups are, but it's in there. It's still draining out slowly. So it says it only makes 8 ounces. That's lame. Who only drinks 8 ounces of coffee? That's like half a cup. I really don't know if it's actually half a cup, like actual measurement, but like I'm talking about when you're drinking coffee, you know, 8 ounces ain't enough. That's what I'm trying to say. Ain't near enough. But while we're waiting on that to heat up a little bit, dinner last night was awesome. My solar charger kept charged my phone up real good. I'm actually gonna set it out and see how well the solar charger part works on it, and like I said, eventually y'all get a review on it. I still have one to go, considering I didn't run my lights as long or as bright as I did last time, because I remember to cut them off before I fell asleep. I slept really good. Would I say that this shelter is warm? No. And it will be warm now that the sun's coming up, and maybe it would have retained some of that heat. And I know it says it's 37 outside and 53 degrees in here. I'm not sure I believe that thermometer still. The biggest improvements would be my gear. I love this little stove. It cooks way faster than that propane stove does. Seems to heat stuff way faster. I mean, this water's already warm. Already warm, and it's on. I mean, you can barely see that flame, and that water's already warm. It was really cold because it was really cold because it came out of that jug that's been in here with me. And that water's pretty cold. Yeah, the biggest improvements so far, really, to the shelter, what really kept me warm was this sleeping bag, man. That 0 degree bag for $69 off Amazon. That thing is fantastic. Ooh. And then the wool blanket that's under it also came off Amazon. It's also like $39. It kept a good barrier. I mean, I stayed warm all night long. Actually, the only time I got cold was when I woke up and I was wet. I was sweating. I done got so warm down in there. I had to pull my beanie off to let some of that heat out. And I fell back asleep, and it was, then I fell back asleep, and it was fine. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. I'm going to try to figure this coffee out. I got to have some. Alright guys, I got that coffee made. It's a little weird how you have to do it. I should have read the instructions first. Did not know I needed to read the instructions on coffee when it says pour over coffee. So I was just like, pour water over it, heat it up, you got coffee. That's not true. It tastes okay. It's alright. This one is called Angel's Landing. It's supposed to be floral, nutty, and citrusy. I mean, it's okay. It's not terrible. There's a $1.95 at Sportsman's Warehouse. Light roast, floral, nutty, citrus. I don't know how to say this. I want to say Cuju, something like that, but I don't know. So, but it does work. And it's still got a little bit in there, just because these Stanley cups don't hold much. This Stanley cup, there's actually 2 of them. I have them together so the coffee stays hot longer, but it's an okay cup of coffee. Yeah, actually, it's really not bad. Could use a little creamer. This one, the Folgers Instant I liked a lot. Better than this. I didn't think it needed any creamer. I feel like this is not as good. It's a little watered down tasting. So, there is that. But yeah, the shelter did really well. Minus the struggling to get that one part done. And I hated that, but I'm dry. I'm warm. Gotta put most of the warmness on the sleeping bag still in this cup of coffee I'm drinking. The heater's 2 feet away. The heater's right there and I'm right here and I can barely feel it. So I don't know, maybe the heater knocked just enough for the chill out of the air or something like that, but it don't do much. That sleeping bag, on the other hand, tell you what, if y'all are looking for a good sleeping bag, now I know it didn't get nowhere near 0 last night, and this is a 0-degree sleeping bag. And on top of that, I put a wool blanket under it, so you don't have that cold air coming up under the cot, through the cot, into the sleeping bag. It's got to go through that wool blanket that my body's already warmed anyway. But man, guys, it's a fantastic sleeping bag. It's the warmest sleeping bag I've ever been in. Like I slept so good. Oh, I slept so good. So I definitely would recommend. It's $69 on Amazon. It's that Sportsman's. Stan Sport whitetail 5-pound sleeping bag. I'm reading the bag off my door. But man, it was great. So warm. I didn't want to get out of it this morning. I figure that's going to do us for today, guys. Like I said, the next step is going to be, the next video should be me tarping this and staying in it again. Because I'm not cutting all this off just to have to buy another roll to do it again. That stuff's $20 a roll, and it took a whole roll to do this, so I'm not going to do that. I need to get home and do my schoolwork. I don't want to. I'd rather stay out here. I wish I could do this every day. Just travel around, making funky shelters, living out of the back of the truck, or whatever, fish in the country. Oh, I'd love to do that. Travel national park to national park, sleeping in different style things, tents, a kayak maybe, the truck bed, just whatever, hammocks, just everything. Just travel, fish, hunt, show y'all the beauty of the outdoors. And maybe one day I'll get the opportunity to. But not right now. Because this all comes out of my pocket 100%, no reimbursement. You know, it's not like I'm making any money off YouTube. So everything I pay for comes out of my pocket and I'm doing it because I like to. It's a lot of fun. I love doing this. And that's the reason I made this shelter. I've always wanted to build a funny shelter, or a shelter like this. And man, it works. I mean, I wouldn't get wet. And I stayed warm and dry and everything else, and no wind came through that I know of. Of course, once I crawled inside that sleeping bag, it didn't matter. Oh, that was so nice. Gosh, that's a good bag. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and until next time, y'all stay frosty.